Hey guys, Exploring with Chelsea here. This video is very surreal. It's something that many of us have lived through and is very tough. Today, September 11th, 2025, marks the 24th anniversary of the September 11th attacks back in 2001. It was a day that many of us cannot burn out of our brains even if we wanted to try. Um, and a lot of us miss what America was like on September 11th or September 10th and September 12th. On September 12th, 2001, America was a unit. We were united. We acted like a community. We had the camaraderie. Many of us stood in line to donate blood, do what we needed to do. Um, on September 11th, what happened, and in this video you'll see, um, America was attacked. Um, at 8:46 a.m., and this is all New York time. At 8:46 a.m., American Airline Flight 11 struck the North Tower. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. At 9:37, American Airlines Flight number 77 struck the Pentagon, and United Airlines Flight 93 happened to crash out in Pennsylvania after um, passengers and crew tried to regain control of that hijacked plane. Unfortunately, there were no survivors. Um, and when 9/11 happened, you had um, fire crew, volunteers, everything that were trying to help with pulling out any bodies and saving people and getting them out to safety. And to be honest, the majority of the people who survived that day that were in the towers have perished. They lost their lives to cancers and all sorts of other complications that happened due to being in the towers at the time of the attacks. Some of the people were supposed to be in those towers and walked away due to running late, um, car battery dying. Somebody forgot their keys. Somebody was supposed to pick up donuts. So those people ended up, they have what's called uh, remorse, survivor's guilt, because they were supposed to be there. So, in a sort of sense, that weren't there for their coworkers. They are still with their families, and that's a blessing. But sadly, a lot of fire crew, search and rescue dogs, um, survivors that actually made it out of the towers, the people who are in the Pentagon, a lot of those people aren't here today, 24 years later. Um, it's very sad. I actually went to Ground Zero in 2006, in July of 2006, and um, they were still clearing the ground. They were clearing the ground in terms because they were preparing to rebuild, and that's what One Tower Plaza, I think is the name of it now, stands. Um, so I was there. It was very moving. I went to the fire station that was right across. It's still there. That's is right across the street from the towers, um, and the memorial that they had there from people that they lost on their crew that day was very moving. Um, a lot of the photos that you see are photos that I took. Actually, the majority of them. There is a video that's in there that I shared a couple of years ago, and the person who put it together, I'm very thankful that they took the time to put it together to remember those who have passed away. and who were affected by 9/11. I was 14 when 9/11 happened. I was a freshman in high school. And I remember we're 3 hours behind New York. And I remember I was getting ready for school. And I remember looking out the window because I was waiting for a friend. And my mom had called me to wish me a good day at work. And her voice was not the same. It was very somber, I guess. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? We're being attacked. And before I could even say what I was thinking, I was already turning on the TV and I saw what was happening. I saw the replay of the North Tower being struck. Um, my thought that was going through my head was, that's not funny. It's not funny to say that we're being attacked, and that wouldn't have been like my mom to say that. Um, I do remember my friend coming to walk with me to the bus stop, and we went to the bus stop and we were talking. We were just so frustrated. We still didn't know all the details, nothing like that. Um, we get to the bus stop, and it was the quietest that I've ever been in. Um, we all gathered around one of our classmates' radio so that we could hear what was going on. And this was before we have the cell phones that we have today. I had a flip phone, I think, back then. And it was the quietest and longest 1 mile ride to school. Nobody went to their lockers. We all gathered in the main lobby of the school so that we could watch what was going on. And those who couldn't make it to see right there at the lobby, they went to their first period class so that they could see what was going on. That entire day, none of us did work. We were all glued to the TV. It was very sad. We were all angry. We everything. We had all the emotions that you could possibly think of. And I just remember I had just lost my nephew, my 21-year-old nephew, and an aunt 3 weeks, it was about a month and a half prior to 9/11. And I thought that I lost 5 more members of my family because I didn't know how close that they lived to the towers and to the attacks. I thought I lost 5 more members of my family. I'm glad that I didn't, which is much more than what a lot of people can say. Um, but those family members were affected in terms of fellow friends and classmates, parents did not make it out of the towers or were affected and barely escaped getting out of the towers. It's also another thing that's very surreal is when the planes hit the towers, people could not get down above. I think on one tower it was above the 70th floor. People could not get down to escape. So instead, they were jumping out of windows to their death. And that the firefighters that were down in the lobby of the tower, hearing those bodies hit the awnings, I watched, I know it's late, but I watched 15 Septembers later. And those bodies hitting the awning rings in my head. And it's very scary because they didn't think that they could make it out or knew that they couldn't make it out. So they rather jump to their deaths to get out and to get away. So to put things in reality, that's September 11th. Um, Arizona, I don't know how many states. I don't know if all 50 states have a piece of the trade centers. I know Arizona has a couple pieces. We have one in um, Gila Bend. We have one in Tempe. And then I was told that we have one in Sedona. I got to see a piece of the tower out in New Jersey, and you'll see that in the video that they had, the New Jersey memorial that I went to is right there. It's in Jersey, but you're looking out across the water and you're seeing the New York skyline where the towers used to stand. And they have a piece of the Trade Center right there. Um, Boston Logan Airport has a piece of the towers there too, and I saw that. I noticed it back in July when I flew in and out of Boston Logan, so it's very surreal. Um, I do want to go to the World Trade Center, the new tower that they have, and pay tribute. It's been almost 20 years since I was there. It was 18 years ago that I went there, and it's very, the reason why I want to go to these places is to pay tribute, to remember what America was about and what happened, and pay tribute to those who perished as well as the family members. And as I said, I miss what September 12th brought, how September 12th brought us as a unit. Became a we became united. And unfortunately, I don't feel that anymore in America. We're all divided, and it's all coming down to politics, unfortunately. And I miss 2001 for that. I don't want another September 11th to happen. I don't want another attack. I don't want us to go back to war. Um, but I do miss the camaraderie and the united front that we had as a country. I do miss that. Um, One photo that I need to find and or video, however I can find it, that I want to find and put in there is our president at the time, George W. Bush. He was actually at a school reading to a class of third or fourth graders when he got the news, and he was very professional on how he reacted when he got the news. But you could see at the same time when he got the news, you could see the color drain from his face. And he still kept it very professional in front of third and fourth graders. Um, so please enjoy the video. I hope this gives those of you who don't understand what happened on September 11th, 2001, I hope this gives you guys light and understanding of what happened. And for those of us who lived it, and each of us who lived it has a different perspective. Um, like I said, I was 14 at the time when it happened, and I've done a lot of growing. And even though I still don't understand why it happened, I understand why it happened, but I still question why it happened. Um, but I hope that this gives you guys understanding, and I hope that as a country, all of us can become united again. Um, this isn't about politics. This is strictly, I miss the camaraderie. I miss that all of us relied on each other in terms of being neighbors and being good and being honest with each other in terms of, I can be there to help you. Let me help you up, brother. Let me help you up, sister. I miss that. So please watch, and I hope, like I said, this brings some light to you guys. Thanks and enjoy, guys.